It is ridiculously hot, but I'm back to doing Avatar. So pray for me, and let's get back into talking about the Avatar novels. Now, I know I haven't done any videos for the Yang Chen novels, and I will be doing them eventually because the second book and the final book for Yang Chen is coming out, called The Legacy of Yang Chen, and I am actually quite excited about it because Yang Chen is a very interesting avatar. She's quite, I suppose, not like political, but the story is definitely a less action heavy, which is interesting to me. It's not the most interesting to many people, so it's not gotten the same level as attention as the Kyoshi novels, for example, but I'm very excited to see where her story is going to go, how it's going to end, etc. But alongside the end of Yang Chen's duology, I'm now wondering what avatar they are going to do next. And honestly, I have literally no idea where this could go, but I have a few thoughts and personal opinions on where I think it should go. And the main avatar that I want it to go to is Avatar Salai. Now, we've not actually heard that much about Salai, except for the fact that he is dubbed currently in both Kyoshi and Yang Chen's world as the greatest avatar to have ever lived, or something to that effect. And I want to know why. I want to know what it is that he did. I want to firstly know what nation he is, because that's never actually noted, what nation he's from. I know there is a theory that he is from the Earth Nation based on his name, but it'd be interesting if, for example, the Legend of Genji fan series, where he was Earth Nation but he was actually part of the Sunbenders community. It'd be interesting if it was along those lines, but I want to know why he's labelled as the greatest avatar in history, what his nation is, and like what we saw with Kyoshi, Yang Chen and Karuk, specifically Karuk, who was dubbed by us, the fans, as the worst avatar in history, and then it turned out, actually no, he was doing a lot of the right things, but he was protecting his previous past life, Yang Chen, who kind of messed up by focusing on the humans and not the spirits, which caused the spirits to, go dark. So I want to know the nitty-gritty of Salai. I want to know if him being dubbed the greatest avatar of all time was actually true, or whether or not it is similar to the Karuk situation of, Karuk was actually probably one of the better avatars because he put so much of his own life on the line to help save the world. He just didn't go about it in the best way himself either, which led to Kyoshi's situation. And basically how all the previous avatars' actions affect the next avatar line's, journey in life and role as the avatar. So because he's been given this title of one of the greatest, I basically want a duology of him being shown as, maybe not. Just because I just like the twist of it all. But maybe even just have one where he is the greatest, but maybe he does some dodgy things that lead to him being the greatest. He may have done the best things, but maybe he was never happy with it, or maybe there was some backroom door political dealing to get things to be the good that they are. Either way, I would be interested in Salai having a story. The one that I don't want, which interestingly I think people have been talking about the most, is Setzo. I think I'm saying his name wrong, by the way, so apologies if I am. And that's because I don't think there's actually anything of interest that could come from his story, because he was basically just a white-collar political worker who only stayed in the Fire Nation. He didn't actually do much during his reign as Avatar. He's beloved in, the Fire Nation because he only stayed in the Fire Nation to help them recover from, financial stresses and basically all the problems that were going on in the Fire Nation. He helped solve. So he was a Fire Nation avatar and an avatar just for the Fire Nation. It'd be interesting to see, maybe, how that caused problems later on for all the other nations that he basically neglected. But I don't think it'd be the most interesting of stories. So Salai, I think, would be more interesting for one of the numbers that we've been name dropped. Gun, I think could also be interesting. because again, we don't know that much about him, other than I think he was a military guy. So that could be interesting, having a military-based avatar. But besides Salai, I honestly wouldn't mind having a completely previously unnamed avatar, because we have like 10,000 years worth of avatar potential. Maybe even having, whether that could be something that ends up happening with Avatar Studios, but what about a book to do with the second Avatar, or something like just, there's a lot of potential there for different Avatar stories. The one that I'm currently most interested in is Salai, because of the name that he's been given. Other people I do know are interested in Setzo, but I just don't think there's much potential there, unless you want to go like full political intrigue. But I mean, you could. I just don't know how interesting it would be. And then just a completely unknown, unnamed avatar. But the big thing that I want going forward for the Avatar novels, and this is no offense intended towards FCE. I love the Kyoshi novels. I really enjoy the Yang Chen novels. They're definitely not as good as the Kyoshi novels, but it's just a different direction. So, everyone has their opinion to that. But I would like, if it's a different avatar, one that's been unnamed or one that's only been briefly name dropped like Salai or Setzo, I would like it to be an entirely new author. I think I've mentioned this before in previous videos talking about the Avatar novels, but in the case of Kyoshi and Yang Chen, it made sense for it to be the same author, because Yang Chen as a character appears in Kyoshi's novel, so having a similar tone of voice to what she's presented as in Kyoshi's novel, it would make sense to have FCE come in again to present Yang Chen, because he's worked with her character a little bit and presented elements about her in the Kyoshi novels. But to then go on to do another avatar, I think it just make more sense to do a different author, because there's not really been many other avatars name dropped in Yang Chen or presented in the Yang Chen novels. That could change with Legacy of Yang Chen, but it'd be interesting to get a different tone of voice, a different narrative style, different ways of presenting characters. And honestly, I want an avatar that doesn't have a connection to the previous stories. I don't want an avatar that's appeared in Yang Chen's novel or Kyoshi's novel, because I want something almost entirely new. I want something that's almost experimental, because we have no connection to this avatar. Yang Chen and Kyoshi, we know because of Avatar The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. If we got Salai, who, yes, has been name dropped, but only to say that he's one of the greatest. We know nothing else about him. Or Setzo, yes, he's been name dropped, but we got a little bit more about him, like the fact that there's a festival for him because the Fire Nation love him. Or one that is completely never been named before, brand new. I think there's more potential to experiment with those characters, because there won't be any previously conceived ideas of what this character is like. Fans can go in blind and basically have an almost completely original story, because it's an original character, like what we got with the Avatar role-playing game, where new characters were introduced and new storylines were introduced. There's just a lot of potential there, and I really want to see more avatars. I really want new content. And I know, like the Kyoshi novels and Yang Chen novels, they are new content, but they are characters that we've known before. And while it was fun, and I do love that we got more about them, I also just kind of want new characters as a whole, like a new avatar. So yeah, give me Salai, maybe give me Setzo. I could probably get on board with it. Or give me a brand new, never named before avatar for the next Avatar book novel. Yeah, this is just, okay, I know this isn't the best start to my Avatar videos, but I want to talk about it because Legacy of Yang Chen is coming out soon, and I want to know what's coming next, because even though it's not out yet, I want more. So yeah, don't worry, there'll be proper Avatar content coming back after this, as well as, of course, more Percy Jackson. I'm going to be doing some other fandom related stuff, and yeah, that's all I have time for, I guess, because there's not really much else to say. And yeah, subscribe, comment. Which Avatar do you want to see? Actually, I'm intrigued about that. Some people have been saying Roku, which would be interesting to kind of get a different perspective of like, you know, we all think he screwed up, maybe he didn't, I don't know, it'd be interesting. But yeah, comment, share, give me your thoughts, and I'll see you all next time.